Tobey Maguire, Spider-Man, which all the performers of Peter Parker look up to. A talented actor who has long been in the shadow of his best friend's fame. After many years of hard work, he finally received worldwide recognition, but did not stay on top, and in the end, lost everything. This is the Biographer channel, and today we'll tell you about all the ups and downs of Tobey Maguire. Why didn't they want to take him into the second part of Spider-Man? What addictions caused the collapse of his career? And is there a chance that we'll see Tobey starring in new films? Before you find out the answers to these questions, click on the subscribe button and on the bell to know about releases of your favorite stars' biographies. Subscribe and we'll start. Tobias Vincent Maguire was born on June 27, 1975 in Santa Monica, California. It's unlikely that his parents, cook Vincent Maguire and secretary Wendy Maguire, seriously thought about the child. The newly made father was only 20 years old and mother was 18. They weren't in a hurry to get married and just enjoyed the carefree life. However, Tobias was born and the life of the young parents changed. It was decided to legalize the relationship, but after a couple of years, they broke up. The future actor described his childhood in one of his interviews. "I lived with my mother, then with dad, then with my mother and her sister, then with my father and his mother, then with my mother and her sister, then with my father and his brother, then with my mother and her boyfriend, then with my father and his wife. It was a crazy time." Tobey ended up staying with his mother. They lived modestly. All capital consisted of Wendy's allowance and salary. Vincent at first tried to help somehow, but then ended up in prison for robbery. This was the end of his help. The views of mother and son did not always coincide. Wendy raved about cinema and stage and tried to convince Tobey that it was a profession that would make him happy. The son dreamed of becoming a cook like his dad. But Wendy was unstoppable. Our hero graduated from elementary school without any incidents and studied well. However, when it came time to choose a profile class in high school, a scandal erupted in the family. The boy chose a rather strange direction: home economics. And it was despite the fact that he had every chance to enter the theater class and study acting. Wendy didn't manage to persuade Tobey to make the right choice in an amicable way, and she went for a trick. She offered her son $100 in exchange for choosing the theater. As you know, $100 doesn't grow on trees, and Tobias agreed. In fact, no one suffered from this deal. His mother got an actor's son, and our hero studied in high school for exactly 1 year. It was just a year that was enough for him to understand that mom was right, to imbue with acting, quit school, and start earning money by acting in commercials. Maguire passed the matriculation exam only in 2000 when he was already 25 years old. "I started working around 8th grade. I remember doing a Doritos commercial where there were 4 days in a row of eating them, and I'll tell you, I have not eaten many Doritos since." The creative biography of the young artist began with filming advertisements for the McDonald's fast food chain and the Atari video game. Maguire got his first role on TV at 19. He starred in a tiny episode of General Hospital. It was a great success to take part in the legendary series. Tobey liked the atmosphere and decided to move on. He began to appear in commercials. For the boy, it was a great opportunity to feel the taste of independent life. Also, he financially supported his mother. Mom, in response, readily drove her son to Hollywood auditions. And for good reason. Maguire managed to get small roles in the TV series Roseanne, The Wizard, Erie, Indiana, and Blossom. Right on the set of the series, Tobey met his friend, then unknown to anyone, but already very talented actor Leonardo DiCaprio. They are still close friends. Thus began the career of Tobey Maguire. Tobey's first big movie role was in This Boy's Life, which was released in 1993. Of course, this is a supporting role, but the young actor is on the same set with Robert De Niro, Ellen Barkin, and his friend Leo, and therefore, he is just happy. The drama is narrated from the perspective of a teenager whose role was originally claimed by Maguire. But after a number of doubts, director Michael Caton Jones preferred DiCaprio, and Tobey played his friend Chuck Bolger. Critics are pretty calm about the film. They aren't too enthusiastic about it, but a strong cast gives the movie good reviews. However, such a brilliant start in such a talented company was followed by several minor roles. First, a role in the cult Walker, Texas Ranger. His teenager, Danny Parsons, could easily get lost in a huge number of episodes, and among other young actors who later became world famous, however, Tobey played really well. Then, the family film Revenge of the Red Baron, where Tobey played Jimmy Spencer, a guy who volunteered to help the famous German pilot ace of the First World War, who possessed a toy airplane pilot to take revenge on his offenders. And finally, SFW, a tragic comedy directed by Jeffrey Levi about terrorists who held hostages in a store for 36 days and about how the right approach to life can save it.
Wow, man, I'm out. This is Johnny.
On the set of the film, Maguire works with Stephen Dorff and Reese Witherspoon. With Reese, they'll play together later again. 1995 wasn't a good year. Tobey starred in only one movie, the comedy drama Empire Records, directed by Alan Moyle. The actor's times are difficult. He cannot cope with Hollywood realities, the constant search for roles, and their almost absence. Our hero wants more. His new friends and actors are filmed in one picture, then in another, and Maguire is so far less lucky. Tobey starts drinking, and moreover, he drinks and understands. It's impossible to play something decent in such a state. As a result, he asked Moyle to remove all episodes from his participation from the film. No comments, just delete and forget that they existed. Oddly enough, the director does what Tobey asks. Leonardo DiCaprio, observing the changes happening with his friend, insists that he go to rehab. Maguire listens to his opinion and in 1996 again tries to get into the acting line, starring in Joyride. Quentin Peoples stars Tobey as a motel clerk called JT. JT and his friends make a very wrong decision to steal the car of a motel guest and go for a little drive. Alas, a surprise is found in Mrs. Smith's trunk, the dead body of one of her victims, and now JT must figure out what to do with it. The film turned out to be quite good. A mixture of genres and cast members such as Benicio del Toro, Christina Zilber, and Amy Hathaway could get more or less positive reviews from critics, but no one drew attention to the picture. Tobey doesn't give up. He finally coped with alcoholism and is ready to demonstrate his talent to the world in full force. 1997 helped him a lot. Tobey gets a role in The Ice Storm, the adaptation of the eponymous novel by Rick Moody. The story tells us about the Hood family, in whose house everything goes to hell. Ben and Elena realize that they no longer love each other. Children grow up, there are many temptations around, and it is very difficult to cope with them. Tobey plays their son Paul, who was in love with his classmate. This role turned out to be deep and serious. Tobey gets a role in the fantasy comedy Pleasantville by Gary Ross. This film tells the amazing story of an ordinary guy named David, who, together with his sister, finds himself in the city of Pleasantville from the old black and white TV series. The movie was filmed in an unusual manner. At first, the footage looks like black and white, and then gradually turns into color. Pleasantville was nominated for an Oscar in 3 categories and received a number of other awards. For the role of David, Tobey Maguire receives the Saturn Award, and this is his first award. The actor is happy. Critics and audiences are happy too. In the same year, the film Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas was released, in which Tobey played a hitchhiker. What would you do for a little episode in Terry Gilliam's film based on the novel by Hunter Thompson? Our Tobey agreed to wear a long white wig, and to make it look natural, he shaved his head and bleached his eyebrows. Was it worth it? Maguire had no doubts when he found out with whom he would be in the frame. It was Johnny Depp and Benicio del Toro. The story about a business trip of journalist Raoul Duke and his lawyer Dr. Gonzo, filled with everything illegal that just comes to your mind, has become a cult classic. Tobey succeeded, finally, at least for a few minutes, in getting rid of the role of a naive, touching guy and tried something else. And he did it perfectly. Unfortunately, the film didn't pay off at the box office. However, over time, it acquired the status of a cult classic. In 1999, The Cider House Rules was released. This is another very successful work of Tobey and another book adaptation. The film tells the story of an orphanage during the Second World War. Maguire plays Homer. He helps a local doctor to carry out illegal abortions. Having made friends with one of the patients, Homer decides to give up everything and start a new life, with new friends by the sea. The film was supposed to be directed by Philip Boros, but he died of leukemia before filming began. Another contender for the director's chair, Michael Winterbottom, did not agree on the future picture with the screenwriter, and at the same time, the direct author of the book, John Irving. As a result, the choice fell on Lasse Hallström, and this duo managed to create a good picture, which was warmly received by critics. The film is considered one of the best works by this director and has received 7 Oscar nominations. And although Tobey Maguire never received any awards for this movie, it was impossible not to notice his work. In the same year, the premiere of another film with Tobey, Ride with the Devil, took place. Director Ang Lee decided to give Maguire the lead role, and he was right. The picture tells about the Civil War between the North and the South. Jake, played by Tobey, along with his friend Jack, become partisans. They are only 19, and they are already faced with realities of adulthood and important choices. Some critics explain the title of the film as follows: "It is difficult to win in the pursuit of the devil if you yourself are that devil." The film did not cause much delight among them and even among the audience. However, both of them noted that it was worth watching it at least because of Tobey's wonderful performance. In 2000, Tobey appeared on the screen with the inimitable Michael Douglas in Wonder Boys, the adaptation of the eponymous novel. This funny, tragic comedy tells the life story of the novelist who teaches at university. His life can in no way be called boring. Events replace each other. Tobey got the role of a student, developed and talented for his years. Critics liked the film, but the audience was rather cool. It failed at the box office. Then Maguire managed to play again with his friend Leo in the same film, but this time everything didn't go according to plan. Looking ahead, I will say that even now, many years later, both actors are ashamed of their roles in the movie Don's Plum. According to Tobey and Leo, who starred as a favor to a friend for a symbolic fee, it was assumed that it would be a short film, although in the end it was made into a full-length picture. The film is about a bunch of 20-year-olds who meet girls every Saturday at a Los Angeles diner. The picture was filmed in 1995 for only 6 days on black and white film and was mostly improvised. The creators wanted the tape to be similar to the comedy Clerks, which was a success and won the Palme d'Or at Cannes Film Festival. But unlike Clerks, Don's Plum turned out to be vulgar and obscene. And among the lines of DiCaprio's character, there were even threats to throw a bottle in a woman's face. The story was filmed at a time when Hollywood was once again becoming avant-garde and democratic, and any eccentric with a manual camera could try his luck in it. But as soon as the affairs of DiCaprio and Maguire went up the hill, they, or their agents, decided that the movie Don's Plum was dangerous for the reputation of the young stars. After the release, DiCaprio and Maguire said they did not want viewers to ever see them in this project and filed a lawsuit to stop its release. Subsequently, the parties came to an amicable agreement, according to the terms of which the film was to be released only outside the United States and Canada, and some scenes from it were to be cut or corrected. As a result, the picture is still impossible to legally see in the United States and Canada, although its premiere at the Berlin Film Festival in 2001 caused an unprecedented excitement. In 2002, the premiere of Seabiscuit took place. Once again, Tobey played the main role. The plot tells how, during the Great Depression, the love of horse racing in America reached its climax. Jockey John Pollard, nicknamed Red, competes on a small, nondescript horse that gradually becomes a favorite of the races and leads his half-blind jockey to victory. On the set of Seabiscuit, Tobey fell from his horse. Later, his back injury repeatedly made itself felt. The film about friendship between humans and animals received several nominations for the Oscar, Golden Globe, and Screen Actors Guild of the United States. However, he never won a single award. But this isn't a reason not to watch this wise and beautiful film.
Oh, good idea.
After the failure with Don's Plum, Tobey spent some time looking for a suitable role. And soon, it appeared and turned his whole life upside down. This is the role that helped the actor really wake up famous. We don't need to explain who Spider-Man is. Several generations of children have grown up on the comics about the adventures of Peter Parker, who, by the will of fate, received superpowers after being bit by a radioactive spider. But according to Tobey Maguire, he hasn't read a single Spider-Man comic. He agreed to star in the film because he liked the script. When director Sam Raimi started casting for the role of Spider-Man, the first person he wanted to offer was Freddie Prinze Jr., but something went wrong. Then there was James Franco, and right before him was Tobey Maguire. The search stopped on Tobey. Sam realized that he had found whom he was looking for. It is possible that it was the auditions where he was naked to the waist helped him get the role of our hero, but who knows? Tobey was delighted. It is a great honor to play such a cult character. But when the actor opened the script, he realized that filming would be very, very difficult. After all, as Uncle Ben used to say, with great power comes great responsibility.
With great power comes great responsibility.
Tobey Maguire sat on a special diet for 5 months and underwent a course of special training to prepare for the role. To accurately convey the image of Spider-Man, Maguire studied insects with the help of specialists at a research institute, took rock climbing lessons, and worked with a high-altitude electrician to adapt to the habits of arachnids. But another shoe was about to drop. The biggest inconvenience was the famous red and blue suit. Tobey said that zippers on the suit constantly diverged, so at the beginning of the actor's shift, they actually sewed him into it, so he could not eat or drink during the day. And if he wanted to go to the toilet, it was a big problem. Tobey didn't have an opportunity to get out of the red and blue costume on his own, and he didn't want to call the costume designers for help and stop filming. And the process of rescue, of course, took a lot of time and slowed down the work. So he had to put up with it. And what to say about the very famous kiss in the rain? Tobey hangs upside down. Kirsten Dunst takes off his Spider-Man mask, rain, night, but the kiss looked romantic and spectacular only on the screen. But during the filming, it drove the actor to a rage. Firstly, it was 5 in the morning. Secondly, I was hanging upside down, and this pleasure is rather dubious. Thirdly, according to the scenario, it was raining at that moment, so they watered us rather hard, and the water flowed into my nostrils. As a result, I could not breathe through my nose. I had to catch air through the corners of Kirsten's lips, so I rather gave her artificial respiration, but did not kiss. Another interesting fact, in the scene where Peter Parker catches the contents of Mary Jane's tray, no CGI was used. The tray was attached to Tobey's arm, and after numerous takes, he finally did the trick exactly as shown in the movie. Despite all the difficulties, the first part of Spider-Man made Tobey Maguire a real Hollywood star. This was not an episode, not a cameo, not a role in a one-off film. It was a real Hollywood blockbuster, and the whole world knew about Tobey. His image of Peter Parker is so strongly entrenched in geek culture that every new performer of this role has a difficult time. Fans are still debating who played Spider-Man better, Maguire, Garfield, or Holland. Who is your favorite Spider-Man? Be sure to write in the comments and we'll see which of these three wins. However, as it turns out, the actor was not ready for such a scale at all. He was terribly uncomfortable with such unhealthy attention to his person. He was embarrassed and tried to avoid public events. To me, the whole idea of fame, and I think it can be a real test of somebody, of who they are. You know, because some strange things happen. I've seen some peculiar things as far as a person just living their life. Tobey didn't cope with the test of fame and money. The self-destruction machine was launched and began to pick up speed. It all started in preparation for filming of the second part of Spider-Man. Tobey categorically refused to perform the stunts on his own, citing an injury which he got during the filming of Seabiscuit. Sony did not believe this reason and accused Maguire of simply filling himself up. The studio even began to look for a replacement for the actor and found it pretty quickly in the person of Jake Gyllenhaal. Tobey, of course, expected a very different reaction from the studio management and producers. He apologized to the studio and admitted that although the injury took place, it was not so serious. He can perform tricks and hang upside down. Not a big deal. The conflict was forgotten and the generous Sony still raised the actor's fee. Thanks to the story of Peter Parker, Tobey Maguire got into the A-list. This is a list of the highest paid Hollywood actors. Tobey's next job is a role in the 2006 film The Good German. Steven Soderbergh tells us about the American war correspondent Jake Geismer, who gets caught up in politics because of his former lover. Despite the bright cast, the main roles are played by George Clooney and Cate Blanchett. Good German turned out to be ambiguous. Many viewers and critics were surprised by the ending of the story. We won't reveal all the secrets, but many agreed that Tobey did a good job. He brightly and believably plays the inveterate villain.
Telly, stop!
Shut up!
But in 2007, Tobey Maguire began to have serious problems. The shooting of the third part of Spider-Man started, and the story with the injured back surfaced again. Once having received a bonus, Tobey apparently decided to do the same again. The actor demanded that a doctor was always present on the set. The fee that Tobey was promised for the shooting did not suit him anymore, and he demanded a larger amount. Jake Gyllenhaal's name came up again. The film was somehow completed, but the picture did not cause any enthusiasm among fans. The audience could not understand what it was all about, what Sam Raimi wanted to tell them. And Sam himself later admitted that at the end of filming, he no longer understood who needed all of this. Spider-Man 3 failed at the box office, and fans of today's hero are sure that this fact was the last thing that finished off Maguire. Tobey became addicted to gambling and returned to alcoholism. He played well and often won. Big businessmen and bankers became his partners in the game. The players secretly gathered in one of the luxury hotels and played until morning. By the way, the losing rich were not always ready to accept defeat. Many of them, having lowered a large amount, went straight to court and began a lawsuit with the actor for their hard-earned hundreds of thousands of dollars. Maguire has participated in professional poker tournaments since 2004, and in June of 2007, he was featured on the TV show Poker After Dark. There, he hit a jackpot of $10 million. However, luck was not on his side for long, and at some point, Maguire lost more and more often. And in 2011, Tobey had to settle a lawsuit to avoid having to return the huge amount of money he won 3 years ago in a poker game. He was playing against a man who was using the stolen money as a bet. This incident negatively affected his career and reputation. Big roles get him less and less. After the failure of the third part of the story about Peter Parker, the story is restarted, but without Tobey. He does not give up right away. He appears in several more films at intervals of a couple of years. In the 2009 drama Brothers, directed by Jim Sheridan, Tobey meets Jake Gyllenhaal on the same set. It looks very ironic considering how many times actors have been knocked together for playing Spider-Man. In the center of the plot are two brothers who are not alike at all. The eldest, Sam, played by Tobey, is a gallant officer, a loving husband. and the youngest, Tommy, rushes through life as if walking on a razor blade. While leaving as a volunteer for the war in Afghanistan, Sam asks Tommy to take care of his children and wife. Soon, the family receives a message that Sam has died, but it isn't true. The officer is captured and tries to return home. Unfortunately, no one is waiting for him there. Initially, Jake Gyllenhaal was supposed to play Sam and Tobey Maguire should perform Tommy, but the director decided that Maguire would not be able to convincingly play the negative character, and the actors exchanged roles. The film received 2 Golden Globe nominations and 4 Saturn nominations. Tobey was still good and did his work well. The Details was another of Tobey's attempts to do something about his career in 2011. The attempt, however, was not the best. A film about a family going through hard times, fighting the invasion of raccoons, naturally did not get much success either with the public or with critics, production designers. After The Great Gatsby, Tobey Maguire has practically no roles. In the same year, he once again appeared in a big movie in Labor Day. He plays a small role of the main character in Old Age, and his appearance in this picture remains almost unnoticed. A year later, Tobey decides to participate in the TV show The Spoils of Babylon. This experiment is incomprehensible to the audience. They leave tons of negative reviews from the category of "Look where it got you, Tobey." Maguire does not appear on TV shows again. Instead, he opens his own production company, Material Pictures, and releases several films under its name. Rock of Ages, Pawn Sacrifice, and The Fifth Wave all fail at the box office. The actor works on the voice acting of the role of the narrator in the famous animated film The Boss Baby, and after that, he completely disappears from screens. We don't want to think that the career of the talented actor Tobey Maguire is over, but so far the list of his roles has not been replenished since 2017. Hopefully, this will change in the very near future. In 2021, the director of La La Land and Whiplash, Damien Chazelle, announced a new work in which Tobey will star, the film Babylon. This story has to do with the golden age of Hollywood. Spike Jonze, Brad Pitt, Margot Robbie, and others also join the cast of the film. The premiere of the film is expected at the end of 2022. And of course, rumors of Tobey's guest starring in Spider-Man No Way Home cannot be ignored. For a long time, the producers either were leading us around by the nose or throwing up new rumors or refuting them. Will Tobey appear in this film? We will find out very soon. But what about Tobey's personal life? Alas, everything is not very smooth here either. A 2006 marriage with jewelry designer Jennifer Meyer, in which the couple had 2 children, fell apart after 10 years. Jennifer could not stand life with her husband, a gambler and a drug addict. Malicious talk says that the matter is also in the infidelity of the spouse. Allegedly, he again inflamed passion for Demi Moore, whom he met back in 2002. After the divorce, Tobey tried to build relationships with other women, but nothing serious came of it. In each interview, the actor says that he still maintains a good relationship with his ex-wife. Tobey and Jennifer were able to find a common language for the sake of the children. They periodically appear together at events, and Maguire supports his wife in new projects. In 2020, photos of Maguire with his new girlfriend, model Tatiana Diedemann, who is 17 years younger than her chosen one, began to appear frequently in the gossip. It was reported that the actor had already introduced his beloved to his family and children from a previous marriage. Now it's time for facts that you might not know about Tobey. Unlike other actors who don't like to watch their movies, Tobey loves to rewatch his films. And not only his own, the actor is a real fan of cinema. Before filming The Great Gatsby, Tobey had not read Fitzgerald's novel. The actor generally read very little in his youth. He spent all his time and energy trying to make money and get out of poverty. Maguire doesn't like to dress up in expensive, fashionable clothes. Convenience is his main criterion when choosing outfits. The actor has been a vegetarian since 1992 and a vegan since 2009. When he needs to eat something containing meat according to the script, the meat products in the frame are replaced with soy counterparts. In addition to the fact that Maguire does not eat meat, dairy products, and eggs, he also does not wear leather and fur. I think that his friend Leo, an ardent environmentalist, appreciated this decision. We have mentioned DiCaprio so many times in this video that we cannot help but invite you to click on this icon so that you can watch our biographical video about this actor. In it, we told in detail the facts about his career, which only a few true film fans know. Do you want to be one of them? Click on the icon and see. And that's all for today. It was The Biographer. We will be grateful if you like this video. See you in the new videos. Bye-bye.